This trip for Carolina is, of course, focused on Maui, where it is an outstanding field with 3 top 5 teams, none of which are Carolina. So 3 top 5 teams, 4 top 10 teams, because UConn, Auburn, Iowa State, all in the top 5, Carolina's top 10, plus that doesn't even count Michigan State and Memphis and Dayton and the other teams, Colorado. Those are all good programs too. I mean, we know this. So these are 8 terrific teams in Maui. It is going to be an absolute a jungle fight out there in the islands. But Adam, a sneaky, true road game in Hawaii against the Warriors. What can Tar Heel fans expect tonight? And what I think it certainly has the potential to be a dangerous game.
The last time Carolina went to Hawaii in this scenario, they did not play well, and Roy Williams was very unhappy and went and got the Tar Heels off the bus. Now, that was partially because there was a really good group of Tar Heels there, which I'm guessing there probably will be again, and he wanted the players to interact some with the fans.
Adam, that was a little bit of a clickbait headline there. Roy Williams, furious with team, removes them from bus to go sign some autographs for kids.
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. This version of the Hawaii team is 4-0. Their opponents are not super fantastic. They've beaten Life Pacific, which may or may not be a team from the insurance company.
Yeah, I was about to say, that sounds like somebody that can help you out with your car insurance.
But then 3 teams you've heard of, not the trusted choice, though. San Jose State, Pacific, and Weber State. We know about Weber State, but I don't think Harold Arsenault was on this team. The Tar Heels, the Rainbows have a really good coach, Eran Gano, who's been there a long time.
Wait, are they the Rainbows? I thought they were the Warriors.
They're the Rainbow Warriors.
I thought I didn't think they were that anymore.
Oh, really?
I'll double check.
That's going to change the broadcast on Friday night, Jones.
You just keep talking. I'll check it out. I thought they were just the Warriors now, but we'll find out.
They're the Rainbow Warriors in my heart. Their head coach is Eran Gano, who's been there a long time, and he is a good coach. He wins 20 games pretty regularly. They've got the reigning Big West Player of the Week, Tanner Christensen, who's a 6'10" center transfer, who's put up really good numbers so far this year.
Rainbow Warriors, you're correct. I thought they were just the Warriors. You're right, Adam.
Aloha, facts.
Adam, you're right. I'm wrong.
Hawaii has done it very uniquely. They don't shoot threes very well at all, so they don't take very many. They do shoot twos extremely well, and they take a ton, and they also get to the free throw line a ton, which, as we know, the Tar Heels also like to do. So should be a lot of free throws in this game. If Carolina can shoot three-pointers effectively, they will outplay Hawaii from that aspect because they have not done that well this year. Hawaii defensively allows fewer three-point attempts and fewer assists than any team in the country right now. I'm looking forward to chatting with Eran Gano about how he's achieved this.
Yeah, that's an odd. I mean, what does that tell you? Like, that tells me that teams are driving a lot against them one-on-one and getting to the basket, right? I mean, that's what I would take away from that without seeing 1 second of Hawaii basketball this season.
I would think so, and teams are pretty successful 2-point-wise, so that must be what it is. So they're a bit of a unique squad that in some way bears some resemblances to a less talented Dayton, who Carolina will see on Monday in Maui, in the way that they attack offensively.
Concern level for this game, Adam, 1 to 10. 1 is they're playing 5-on-2. You and I are the 2. 10, it's the national championship game against Duke.
Oh boy. I mean, I think it's a 6. They're a capable team, and you flew 12 hours to get there. And as you said, most of the talk has been about the games after this. So the challenge for Hubert Davis will be persuading a group, many of whom, as James Brown told us, have never made a trip like this before, that you're not just going to hang out on the beach, and you're also not just going to play in the Maui Invitational. You have to Hawaii. This would be the signature win of Hawaii's season, and they're just sitting there waiting for you. So, and they've got a capable coach. They're a capable team.
Yeah, I agree. Adam, just quickly, just since we're not going to have another opportunity, before we do football, I mean, it is going to be an absolute battle in Maui. I think anybody who wins 2 games out there is probably going to feel pretty good. I mean, obviously you're trying to win all 3, but I think even winning 2 is good because you will have picked up 2 good wins regardless. So that is going to be just I mean, is it the best Maui field that Carolina has been a part of? And that's hard to say. I mean, just off the top of our head, but I mean, you got 4 top 10 teams. Chaminade is not in this event this year, so you don't have kind of the Division II team that's just there. I mean, this is when the quote-unquote not least good team is Colorado, I guess, or Dayton. I mean, and those are great teams. So, I mean, these are 8 terrific programs, teams, and whoever wins games out here is going to have done something.
Well, I think starting, like, what I consider this cycle of Maui trips is the first Roy Williams trip. And some of those opponents that I think of as being really good, like when Carolina beat Iowa that year, that felt like a really good game against a really good team. They weren't ranked. I think the only top 10 win Carolina has in this cycle of Maui games is Wisconsin. So you've got a chance to double that in one trip. And we're talking about a span of 20 years. So you are going to play some formidable opponents, but in order to do that, well, honestly, no matter what, you're going to play a top 10 team because win or lose.
Yeah, you're going to play a top 5 team in the second game, win or lose against Dayton.
Because you're playing either Auburn or Iowa State no matter what. That'll be, I was going to say that'll be Carolina's toughest game of the year, but the Tar Heels already played at Kansas.
Yeah, and could play UConn.
So it's stacked. Dayton is good enough to put you in the losers bracket.
Anthony Grant is still their coach. I mean, they have a good coach, a good program that's used to winning, and they've had an undefeated start. At least as Adam and I are recording, they still have one more game to play before Maui, but they're 4-0 before their final game before Maui.
And the best one of those 4 is at home against Northwestern, which you might roll your eyes and say, Northwestern. I mean, that's a top 50-ish team with a capable coach who we know. They'll be athletic. They've got some size, but not a ton, more sort of wingish size. But they're another team that really wants to attack the basket, shoots 2-pointers really well, 3-pointers not very well. They don't get to the line quite as much as Hawaii, but a quality squad that'll be another late-night game on the East Coast that Carolina's going to have to play well to win. People are very confused about all these game times.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the Hawaii game is tonight.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet if you're listening on Friday during the day.
4 games. Adam, I think the Heels would love to – they'd like to win all 4. If you can win 3, I think that's a successful trip. 3 or 4 wins, successful.
And I'm certain Hubert Davis will talk about this with you during the course of the Maui Invitational. But the 3 games in 3 days
going away.
Absolute grind. And some of the turnarounds are even faster than 24 hours.
Well, let's say Carolina wins its first 2 games and is in the championship game, it will have played at I believe it's the latest game possible on Tuesday and the earliest game possible on Wednesday.
Which in that scenario would be a win over either Iowa State
and
or
then
Auburn.
Probably UConn or like Michigan State.
Right. And less than 24 hours later, all right, guys, let's go face the Huskies. Yeah. I mean, that's not a realistic – you know what that is? That's a TV show.
Yeah. Real quick, you know how old Anthony Grant is?
No.
58.
Really?
I need your secret, Anthony. Anthony Grant has looked exactly the same since he was the head coach at VCU.
Yeah.
Like the last 20 years, he has looked exactly the same.
It's that low-stress world of college basketball.
Yeah, how do you do it, Anthony Grant? You just keep your boyishly handsome good looks even though you're 58 years old. It's incredible. So that's going to be a great event. But Tar Heels got to win tonight first. And again, that is no gimme, no layup.